We're a little late today. Good to see everybody. I see McKay is here. Good afternoon. Aaron is here. I have a really good show for you today. I've had a lot of people lately ask me about fear, about fear of starting a business in general, fear of starting a cleaning business. Sometimes people are afraid because they've tried before and failed. Sometimes they're afraid because they've never tried and they're just not sure what to expect. So I've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it a little bit more today because I think it's important to understand why this happens, how to avoid it. And I think that once you have clarity on how to deal with the fear, it becomes much easier to overcome it. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Today's show is titled How to Start a Cleaning Business When You're Afraid to Fail. Today's show is brought to you by Jobber. It's right here in the corner. Today's show is powered by Jobber, I should say. And for those of you that are new, I just want to quickly introduce myself. And I always tell people why I'm here. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is John Margalit. I'm the founder of Happy Home Helpers, a 7-figure remote cleaning business that made over $1.5 million last year. And this year I'm on track to make over $2 million in 2026. This is the fourth year in business. So it's relatively fast. I'm also the creator of Rags to Riches University, where I teach aspiring entrepreneurs and cleaning business owners how to start and grow a profitable cleaning business using my proven sales tactics and marketing systems. Previously, I was a sort of a callous gun for hire, if you will. I was brought in for a very special assignment to a tech startup on Wall Street to grow their sales. And I was the catalyst for very explosive growth in the company. I hired a lot of people. I trained them how to sell this product, and we grew to a 9-figure exit. And that's where I built and fine-tuned high-performing sales teams and customer acquisition systems that I bring to the table here in a very unique approach on how to build a cleaning business. That 9-figure exit made the founders of that company very wealthy, but not me. So I sort of left, not with a bad taste in my mouth at all, but thinking I don't want to build someone else's dream again. Luckily, I've been able to have some success. I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Yahoo Finance, and my cleaning business was named Best Cleaning Service in Las Vegas by City Council. I'm going to take a look at the reviews and the Google Business Profile in a minute just to show some proof of what's going on. And everybody loves the proof check part of the show, so I'll go ahead and jump in there. I'm just going to show my sales, and I'm going to log into Jobber. I use Jobber. It's the hub of my business. I use it to create client profiles, create invoices, to run payments, put all the notes in on each client, give those notes to the cleaners, everything. So I'm going to just share my screen. And again, I always want to be clear about this. This is not a flex. I'm not doing this to brag or boast. It's just simply to provide proof, because I'm going to be giving you a lot of advice and a lot of tactical know-how. And I want to be clear with you about what it produces. They're kind of results that are really possible. So I'm just going to log in for a minute. This is the Jobber login screen. And as you can see, there's no AI. There's no, nothing's fake here. It just says, good afternoon, John. Today is Friday, April 10th. And I'm going to go down on the left-hand side menu to the reports tab. It's very, very simple. Jobber's user interface is excellent. Very easy to use. I'm just going to click on the transactions. This shows how many credit cards were processed and the total amount. And by default, you can see here, it's the last 30 days. So I'm going to zoom out and I'll scroll down and I'll show you. The last 30 days were hovering just under 160,000, 159,000. So you can do the math if you want to figure out how much money someone can make. And I'm going to go to yesterday just to see what the sales were. It's been very slow. We've had a slow month so far. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to do the start date, April 9th, the end date, April 9th, and I'm going to filter. You can see yesterday we did $4,213. This is credit cards only. This doesn't include Zelle or Venmo or checks and cash. So really yesterday was about $5,500. And then today it is 12:08 p.m. on April 10th, Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to filter starting and ending on April 10th. And today we already have, not even half the day, we already have over $4,000 in. So today will be a decent day. I can feel it. Usually when we start the day with $4,000 or $5,000 in sales, we end the day very well. Most cleaning businesses would probably be thrilled to do this amount in an entire day. But again, it's a little bit of a slow period for us, and I'm going to look to pick that back up. Now, I'm going to turn my way back to my thoughts for today and what I've written down sort of as my script. And I want to make sure people understand that I'm here for anybody that feels stuck. And because of that, I'm hoping that my content and the value that I bring can get you unstuck, if you will. If you want to work with me, if you want me to help you grow your cleaning business, there's two ways that I can help you do that. If you want to get similar results or even have a chance at similar results that I just showed you, you can get the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator. This is my operating system. This is my training program, my weekly group coaching calls. You get my complete cleaning business operating system, pricing models, hiring systems, sales scripts, automation workflows, marketing structure, onboarding systems. And this is for people who want clarity, accountability, and a proven blueprint. I think that I have the best blueprint on the market. In fact, I think the results speak for themselves. And then the second way that you can work with me, this is a really special program. It's the Founder Intensive. It's a 90-day private build program. This is hands-on. You get everything in the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator, but we work together to build your business correctly from day one. You don't just get the information, you get implementation and precision. So if you're serious, you can apply. It's not on my website. It will be later, but right now I'm only accepting email applications. A lot of people email me from the show, or I think maybe you find me on YouTube or find me on TikTok or Instagram. But if you want to apply, Taj, if you'll put it up, please, it's jon@johnmargalit.com. There's no H. It's just jon@johnmargalit.com. If you have any questions or you'd like to apply, please send me an email there. You can also DM me on Instagram. And if you want to be a guest of the show, shoot me an email. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I like getting emails from people, and if it's not too long of an answer and something I can explain quick enough, I'll write back to you, or I'll tell you to have a quick phone call, and I'll explain it to you. All right. Now you know how to get with me if you want me to help you build your business. This can be a reality for everybody if you have the right mentor and the right blueprint and you take the right steps. We can help you execute that, and we can get there. I always dive in I'm plugged in as I am normally. Oh, okay, we're back. I don't know what happened there. Is everything, can somebody leave me a message? I just got an unstable internet connection, so I'm not sure what happened. Can somebody comment? I just want to know if you're here. Minash is here, Growth Hub. I see you. Good yesterday's Gold Nuggets. Good. I'm really glad I got to drop a little bit of value. Here's, okay, now it's okay. We're good. All right, we're stable. We are live. We're good. I've been exactly where you are, and I built my way out of it with a very simple remote cleaning business. And now my goal is to help you do the same. And it's not just about potentially starting a business. It's also about what the experience of being free does to you. How you can become a different kind of person with more confidence, more clarity, more decisiveness, more capable and more resilient. So you can create real financial freedom and real time freedom in your life. Thank you, guys. I see you here. Where's Mom? Mom's here, I think. She might be in a workout class. Brianna's here. Lindsay P is here. Aaron's here. We're back, definitely. But in the show, I share my honest ideas, honest perspectives, and simple frameworks about mindset, sales, marketing, decision-making, and problem solving. Because these are the things that you actually need to think and act like somebody who can build their own future. And just as important as the tactics, I want the show to be a daily reminder that transformation is possible. It's not a pipe dream, it's real. And you're not crazy for wanting more. Nice thing when you tune in here, you know you're not alone in the journey. And because transformation always starts with a decision, I always ask the same question. If you don't change anything, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing, you will very likely be in the same position 5 years from now. You'll be feeling the same frustration, the same lack of control, and the same resentment towards your job. And I remind everybody this every day. It's important. But if you committed to transforming your life, really committed, like you woke up every morning and even when you weren't feeling it, even when you were scared, even when you didn't think it was going well, you continued to believe, then there's a real chance that in much less than 5 years, you could be exactly where you want to be. So here's the real question. What hurts more? Continuing to endure a job or a situation you hate or you know is a dead end, or enduring the discomfort of pursuing freedom and building something of your own? Because the truth that most people avoid is that the pain of staying the same has no upside. Just repeats. But the pain of trying to change, it's a different kind of pain. It's building and learning, failing, trying again. And we know that if we do this, it at least gives us a real chance and a better life. So I'm going to talk to you today about how to start a cleaning business when you're afraid to fail. It's totally normal. I know most of you are probably feeling this way. I did. If you're afraid to start a cleaning business, or you've started and you're still afraid, or honestly, any business for that matter, this is probably the real reason why. It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's because you've tried before, or you've thought about trying before, and it didn't work. So I want to talk about something that doesn't get said enough. And it's that the fear of failure doesn't come from nowhere. For me personally, it came from experience. I had already tried different businesses. All of them in the end didn't work. Some went nowhere. Some I thought were going to be the thing, and they just weren't. And at the same time, some of the time, at least most recently, I had a good job. I even had 2 jobs at one point. Stable income, predictable paycheck. And while I was working in New York, I was comfortable. So now I'm sitting there thinking that starting another business, all I could think about was, what if this doesn't work? Just like the others. And it wasn't just a thought, it felt real. It felt like failure was almost inevitable. Like, why would this one be any different? And that's where a lot of people get stuck. Because it's not about starting, we call it from 0 to 1. It's about starting again after you've already been burned. And when you feel like that, you start overthinking everything. You try to find the perfect idea, the perfect plan, the perfect timing, because you're trying to protect yourself from that feeling again. But the truth is, that's what keeps you stuck, because you're solving the wrong problem. You're trying to eliminate risk instead of making the game predictable. That's the shift. That's the breakthrough. This is the gold in today's episode. The way I got out of that had nothing to do with confidence. I didn't suddenly believe in myself more. I just simplified the game. I stopped thinking about, will this business work? And I started thinking about one thing. How do I make my phone ring every single day? That's it. That became the entire focus. Client acquisition, leads, inbound calls. Because I knew if I could get people calling consistently, everything else could be figured out. I have a clip for you. I'm going to play it real quick so I don't forget. Taj, if you could play the clip. I think it's important. We have a very special guest back. He's been on plenty of times. I think you guys might know him. Without further ado, I'm going to bring you
from 0 to 1 really looking for. I read tons of business books at that time, but I couldn't use any of them because I was so afraid. And what's crazy is that, like, I think about it now in retrospect, and it's like, it's crazy how large the perceived monsters can appear. And Layla has this quote that I love, but it's fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so you look at it and it looks like this ocean, and then you take the first step and you realize you don't drown, because it's like, oh, there's ground underneath of this, right? There's other people who are more on my path, and the friends you lose, you gain new friends, right? And so that fear was the hardest decision that I've had to overcome in my entrepreneurial career.
You see, even the guys that are seemingly at the top, they went through it too. They're not superhuman, but he's right. A lot of the time, they're a mile wide and an inch deep. It's funny how that works. When you get there, then you look back and you see that. But once I started to figure everything out and started to think of this more as a math equation, something clicked. I started to see patterns. I realized that if I could get 20 plus people per day to call in for a quote, I knew that about 50% of them would book, and that would mean 10 new jobs. My average ticket is $250. It's pretty straightforward across the board. It's pretty common across the entire country, I've seen from all the people in the program. That's $2,500 per day in new business. Now multiply that over a month and you get $75,000. If you push a little bit higher, you're at $100,000. And all of a sudden, you also have the recurring customers stacking. And this thing that felt scary literally turns into a math equation. And when it becomes math, it's not emotional anymore. It's not what if I fail, it's how do I get more leads? How do I improve my conversion? How do I lower the cost per lead? That's it. Those are the things that consume you, not the fear. That's the game. I think of these things as levers that you can pull. This is an advanced sort of concept, but it's simple. At the next level, I started to understand what leads actually cost. And once I knew that number, I felt like I had control now. Because now I could say, okay, I'm paying this much per lead. This is how many leads turn into jobs, and this is how much revenue I get per job. So now I just focus on lowering the cost per lead and increasing the conversion rate. And if those two things improve, the business grows predictably. Some of you might be thinking, it's not that simple. No, it actually is. But you have to go and do it. You got to go start testing your marketing. You got to go put some ads out there. You have to see what that amounts to. And then once you get some numbers and some data, you just continue to do what I just alluded to. You just optimize it. Let's put up the quote of the day. The quote of the day is by somebody that you guys know. His name is John Margalit. I actually just made this up. I made this up for today's episode. This was something that was on my mind, and I just coined the quote. Fear disappears when you understand the game. That was the turning point for me. And I don't mean that in some abstract way. I mean literally. When you understand the numbers, there's nothing left to be afraid of, because now you're not guessing. You're just solving. Let me explain what this means a little deeper. Most fear comes from not knowing what's going on, the uncertainty. When you don't understand something, your brain fills in the gaps with the worst case scenarios. You guys know what I'm talking about. Happy Friday, Rick Benson. What if I lose money? What if this doesn't work? What if I fail again? What am I going to tell my friends that told me not to do this? My parents, my cousins? That's not reality, you guys. That's uncertainty. Now compare that to something simple, like a game you already know how to play. Now, let's say basketball. It's my favorite. You know the rules. You know how points are scored. You put the ball through the hoop. You know what winning looks like. score more than the other team. Are you still nervous sometimes when you go out and play? Yeah. But are you afraid to play? No. Because you understand the game. And business works the same exact way. When I don't understand business, everything feels risky. When I didn't understand business, everything felt overwhelming. It felt like I was just guessing and hoping that something would work. But once I broke into it, or I broke it down, traffic, meaning how many people are coming to my website or my ads, conversion, how many of those people are turning into paying customers, and just the numbers, what I was taking in gross on every job, I started to understand the game. Now, I knew if I just get this many people to call and this percentage books, and this is my average ticket per booking, then this is what happens. Now there's no mystery. And when there's no mystery, there's no fear. There literally isn't. It all goes away. So if you're feeling stuck right now, it's not because you're not capable, and it's not because the game still feels confusing. I'm sorry, it's because the game still feels confusing, I should say. And your job is to simplify it until it doesn't. So I'm going to repeat that again. If you're feeling stuck right now, it's not because of your inadequacies. It's not because you're not capable. It's because the game still feels confusing. And your job right now is to simplify it until it doesn't anymore. I know Aaron, he messaged me about ads. Aaron was asking if I had a crystal ball, is basically what he was asking. He was asking what ads work and, all these different questions. And I wish I had a better answer. But the answer is go try some of them, get some data back, analyze it, and then you'll know. And advertising and marketing in general, you guys, is a moving target. Just because an ad worked 2 years ago or 2 weeks ago doesn't mean it's going to work right now. Sometimes video ads perform better. Sometimes static image ads perform better. Sometimes I just stay away from all the ad creatives and I just run local service ads. So I don't have to deal with that stuff. But some people, local service ads don't respond well in the beginning in their area. They do eventually, but people abandon them too soon. We know on Facebook we can always get a ton of lead volume, but I can't predict which ad is going to work the best. I can't do that yet. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. So I want you to ask yourself this. This is the part of the show where I ask you 3 questions. Questions that I hope will provoke thought and get you on the right track. Question number 1 is, am I afraid of starting, or do I just not understand the numbers yet? I want you to think about that. And if you've started the business, but you haven't started to advertise, ask yourself, am I really afraid? Or am I just afraid because I don't know what the numbers are? Number 2, what would this look like if it was just a math equation? And I'm not a good math guy. So what would it look like if I knew X plus Y equaled Z? Not algebra, not a quadratic formula equation. I'm just saying X plus Y equals Z. All right? That's all I'm saying. And the last question, number 3, is, what's one way I could start generating leads this week, right now? Now, I'm not talking about going and knocking on doors or going to a meetup. I'm talking about really getting a machine going, an inbound machine. People are looking out on the internet for cleaning service. You know where they're looking. So you need to be there, meet them where they are, and show your company or your offer. Get them to call you. It's not as hard as you think. There aren't as many listings as you think. And all the listings don't answer right away. Some of them go to voicemail. Some of them have crappy customer service. Your competition is not that good. Every single market I've ever seen that we've tried to penetrate with any one of the students, from US to Canada to Europe and now even Asia, it's never as hard as you think. Let's transition to the lesson for today. I think that you guys know what it is, but I'm just gonna bring it out. I see a comment today. Mom, Annette's here. Mom, you were late today. You must have been at your workout class. And McKay says, didn't understand the numbers. Yeah, that's all it is. Kayla says, working with your program has significantly lowered the fear by learning more about how to operate the business. It really is a numbers game. Yeah, totally. Thank you for saying that. You're absolutely right. The key lesson today, I mean, if you take one thing away from this, I hope that it's that you don't need more confidence. You need more clarity. And clarity comes from simplifying the game down to traffic and conversions. That's it. That's the whole business. In fact, that's why we call it a remote cleaning business, or a lot of the time when I advertise the program, I advertise it as an online business because the traffic and the conversion happens online. If somebody has gone to Google and searched for a cleaning service and picked your company out of all the ones there to call, even if it's a few calls that they're going to make, nobody calls unless they're highly interested or that they've seen some signal from your website or your Google business profile that tells them that you might be a good fit, that they can trust you, that you're reputable. The real conversion doesn't happen on the phone. It happens when they're looking and they choose you. If they've chosen you, they've pre-selected. Now, you just need to know what questions to ask them to give them the confidence to pull out their credit card and pay you. That's what's in my program. Now, I used to think that starting a business meant taking this huge, scary leap where everything was uncertain, but now I completely see it differently. It's not a leap, it's a system. Get attention, convert it into customers, track the numbers, improve the inputs. When you see it like that, you stop feeling stuck because now you actually know what to do. That's the game. I see some questions here. Or Lindsay Reese, hi. She's cleaning, so she's checking in. And Lindsay says, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't liked, subscribed, please do all the following. Follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to build up my followers there. If you want to be a guest of the show, shoot me a DM on Instagram at John Margalit. If you want to be in my program, you can enter for under $1,000 with the CEO Accelerator, the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator. If you really want me to be hands-on and help you build this thing, you want a much faster, proven way, apply. Just shoot me an email. Taj, if you could put it up, that'd be great. John at johnmargalit.com. Rick Benson says, do you think that there's a good amount of business in dog poop cleanup as a service? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Let me give you the pros and cons of a dog poop scooping business because I've thought this through and I love Rick Benson's question. On the positive side, it's a very, very easy to execute business. You can't really mess it up unless the person who goes out to provide the service is extremely lazy. But I don't think that would happen very often. What do you need to make a successful service completion? You need somebody who's going to go. You need the right tools. You need a scooper to pick it up. You need bags to put the waste in. Easy to execute, high demand, high demand. I have dog poop in my backyard right now. I actually have a reminder every day in my calendar that pops up that says, pick up dog poop. And I swear 6 days out of the week, I turn it off without going to do it. Sure, we all like that. And I got a little dog. But here's the downside to the scooping business. It's a low ticket business. So it typically works well for a solopreneur who's going to go out there and execute by himself. It's not the kind of business you build a team around and you do it remotely. This is a hands-on, you go and you service the client yourself. You could make a lot of money. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's demand. You can make money, but you go do it yourself. In the house cleaning business, it's the opposite. You need people that know how to clean. The job's more difficult. Not difficult, just more difficult than just picking up poop. And it's more intimate. You build more trust. Dog pooping outside. Nobody enters the home, especially when you're not there. I have a couple of the cleaners here right now doing my house, and they're alone in my bedroom. I don't know what's going on. I'm here. I don't leave my valuables out, but I also trust them. If I didn't trust them, I wouldn't let them in my house at all. The dog scooper, you don't need to trust. He can have access to your side gate. He could go in, clean, leave. It's like the pool guy. I don't even know when my pool guy comes, to be honest. I just know the pool's clean. If it's not clean, I have a problem. If it's clean, he never hears from me. I just pay the bill. Dog poop scooping is like that. But the ticket is low. Now, compare that to cleaning, a $250 average ticket. Now, there's plenty of margin to send someone out to do it for you. It's still an easy enough job to knock out. You get to keep at least $100 per job. So if you start doing 5 houses a day, that's not that much. You could start bringing in $500 a day without going and doing any labor. You could just do it right from your computer if you have the traffic and the conversions. And if you get a virtual assistant, you can have them pick up the calls at a fraction of at a nominal cost. Do that work for you. Now you're just focused on getting people to your website, getting them confident enough to pick up the phone and call or fill out a form on your website. The virtual assistant calls them for you, books them, sends out the cleaners. You take your cut. That's it. That's how the business works. And going back to what this episode is about, if you have more people visiting your website, you're going to have more people filling out a form or picking up the phone and calling. If more people call, you might have to add another virtual assistant. You book more jobs, you'll add more cleaners, and you'll scale. The system scales, not you. You don't work more hours. The system scales. Brianna says, what about adding poop scooping as an additional service? So I think that this is the right way to think. I'll tell you why. Because now you could theoretically add that service in by outsourcing it to somebody else. Here's where I'm going with this. I don't think that the cleaners are going to want to deal with that. It's not enough. It won't take enough of their time. Hi, Amelia. It won't take enough of their time for it to be worth it to them. They want to clean and get out. But I'll tell you one thing. If you don't have a cost of acquisition, meaning you don't have to run any advertisements to get the customer, you're just upselling the customers that you already have for house cleaning, then you could charge $50 to $60, maybe even sometimes $100. I would say in this market, you could probably charge $100 a month if you can get clusters in areas, and you could send someone out at $20 an hour. Then maybe you could make a little bit of income from customers you already have, and somebody would go out and just handle that side of the business. But remember, they're still driving around. So there's still logistics. There's still gas. These are things that you have to figure out. And that's why I don't like it as a standalone service unless you want to go do it. If you want to build remotely and you want a system to do all the work for you, house cleaning is where it's at. That's the easiest one. You could do power washing, but then you need machines and you need a vehicle that can carry the machines. You need a water source. Probably have to learn how to use some chemicals. House cleaning is just house cleaning. Junk hauling is great. You need a truck, and you need somebody. You need equipment, and you need somebody strong. Zubair, good to see you. It has been a long time, but we chat every now and then. Zubair's in the UK. He's also in the program. He's been in the program a long time. I hope he's actually, he told me he's taking a leave of absence from his job and he's getting attacked this full time. I think it's great. He's where a lot of people want to go, but he's actually got there. Maybe we'll have you as a guest, Zubair, so you can give everybody an update on how you're doing. Brianna says, how do you outsource the price of carpet cleaning? Oh, how do you outsource and price? Well, I just have like 7 or 8 machines and I ask the cleaners who would like to make extra money for carpet cleaning. And then I give them the machines. I supply them. And then there are some teams that go and buy their own because they understand how much more money they can make. So if it drives up the average cost of the job, I pay out more for it. So they can make a lot more per stop. They end up buying their own machine. It's only $400 to $500. So that's how you do it. I still have the same pricing method. If I know that the customer is paying $600, I'll pay the cleaners $200. That's my easy methodology. I'm always going to charge 3 times of what my cost is. And if the customer and I settle on the price, I'm going to call the cleaners, or I have a Slack that goes out to the cleaners. It says, I have a job. Here's the address. Here's how much I can pay out. It's a standard clean, this size house, and there's carpet cleaning, or they have a sofa they want to get cleaned. The Bissell Big Green Clean Machine, the commercial version of it, it does upholstery, it does mattresses, it does carpet. It's a brilliant little machine that can fit in any back seat. And I like that machine. And I give it to the cleaners and I ask them just to do one thing, clean it after every use, because hair, dog, pet hair can get in it, human hair can get in it. Those are the only things that you have to worry about is cleaning it. But there's YouTube videos that show how to do that. And it only takes about 5 minutes to clean it properly. And if you keep it clean, the thing just keeps working. It's a tank. You're welcome. And Rick Benson says, how often do you upsell for mattress and carpet? I have an auto email that goes out about once a quarter that asks people if they need a mattress cleaning. And let me explain to you what I do. It's a really good question. You bring up something. With mattress cleaning, here's the key. When you're going to email your customer list, you want to lead with fear. I asked ChatGPT, how many mattresses have dust mites? How many mattresses, if they don't get cleaned, start to harbor germs? And what that is. I asked ChatGPT to describe it for me. And then I copied it and I pasted it into an email to about 7,000 customers that I have. And I said, if anybody hasn't got if you haven't got your mattress cleaned and you want to get it cleaned, for an extra $148, we'll clean your mattress while we're there. And if you haven't done it in a while, here's all the things that are probably going on in your mattress in your bedroom that you don't know about. The response is very good. We get a lot of people that get their mattresses clean. And I think that everything that I'm claiming is true because I just asked ChatGPT, like, what really happens? I'm not making up a story. If you don't get your mattress cleaned and you don't have a protective cover over it, it can get really nasty. It also depends what you're doing on the mattress. All right. Good questions. Great questions. But yeah, if you've got a machine like that, you can upsell. Here's another thing, another opportunity. This is a big opportunity. When you sell a move out clean or a deep clean, if you've got one of these Bissell Big Green Clean machines that can do carpet, upholstery, mattresses, when you're pricing it, you always want to ask that question. Do you need any carpet clean? When was the last time you had your mattresses cleaned? Do you have any couches or love seats, chairs that haven't been shampooed in a while? And inevitably, most people say like, yeah, you know what? I could use sofa cleaning. Or I do have some stains in the carpet from when I was training my dog when my dog was a puppy. And I want to be clear about how I sell carpet cleaning. Let me give you a real tactic. Let me teach you how to sell carpet cleaning. When you become very descriptive about your process, it gives your service a much higher perceived value. Let me give you an example. If you called up any cleaning company and asked for a move out clean or a deep clean, and they asked you if you needed any carpets cleaned, and you said yes, they would give you a quote. My team is trained to say, do you need any carpets cleaned? And if they say maybe or yes, we say we do a carpet shampoo with a deep dirt extraction. We lift and remove all stains. If there's pet stains, we have a special enzyme for that. We deodorize the carpet and then we seal it so it repels dirt. Everything that I just described is what every carpet cleaner does. There's nothing in there that's not the same as everybody. All of the chemicals that we buy for the stains have the enzyme in it. All of the products that everybody uses deodorize. All the shampoo that you do when you go to pick it all up does a deep dirt extraction. But if you don't say those words, you're just going to be a commodity. It's going to be the same as anybody else. No differentiation. But when we write the quotes, when people say, okay, good, I'm gonna think about it, I'm gonna talk to my wife, whatever. When we write the quote, we write deep dirt extraction, pet stain removal with special enzyme, special sealant to repel dirt. We write this in the quote. We write it in emails to people. When they go to compare quotes, one is going to say carpet cleaning, and the other one's going to say deep dirt extraction shampoo. Special enzyme to remove pet odors and stains. Sealant to repel dirt, lasts years. Which one do you think they're going to go with? Which one do you think they're going to go with, even if it's a little more expensive? I know Brianna's laughing, but it's true. It's absolutely true. The way you present your services directly impact the value that they're perceived to be at. And if you just simply say, we'll clean your carpet, you are the same as everybody else. But if you describe exactly what you're going to do, you're not lying. It's absolutely true. It just sounds a lot more expensive. There's more value there. Brianna, you're going to be laughing all the way to the bank. Trust me. Rick Benson says, it's good to see John turn it up. Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm selling or I'm telling, but either way, I'm very passionate about these things because I know how much impact they can have on your business and ultimately on your life if you employ these tactics. And again, you're not trying to get one over on somebody. You're just simply describing what the machine's going to do. And that thing works. Thing's great. I came across a situation that I'll tell you about before I wrap up here. Somebody got a virtual assistant from me. I recruit, hire, and train virtual assistants for cleaning businesses. And I also build cleaning business websites. And give them the old razzle dazzle. Yeah. Look over here. Right. Yeah, no, this isn't the okey doke or the razzle dazzle. You're just telling them what the machine does and they'll, everybody appreciates it. Now, this person got a virtual assistant from me and the virtual assistant sent me over a call today. I always do a checkup, see how they're doing. And the virtual assistant said, can you critique my call? I lost the customer. She was interested. And then at the end of the call, she said, I don't know. I can't spend that much money. And she hung up. But here's the problem. The cleaning business owner insists that if somebody doesn't get their house cleaned regularly, that they must start with a deep clean. And the deep clean on this house was $700. The lady called up and she wanted a standard clean. She would have paid the $240 for the standard clean, $250. And that cleaning business owner would have recouped her ad spend. Now, remember, if you don't convert somebody, you're paying for the ad and you're taking in nothing and you're not keeping your cleaners busy. If she would have just sold her what she wanted and not pushed her to get something she didn't want, she would have recouped her ad spend. She would have kept her cleaners busy, and she would have made a little bit of money, which is better than no money. So if you're going to sell cleaning services, don't try to sell people anything but what they want. It doesn't matter if it's a higher ticket for you or you make more money. If you take that approach, you're going to lose. Ask people what they want and just give them what they want. That's it. You can ask them if they also would like to get a mattress cleaning or sofa cleaning. And if they say no, move on. When you start to push things on somebody, when you start to tell somebody that they need this because it's been 3 months since they got their house cleaned, but they're just telling you they don't want it or they don't need it, just leave it alone. Just give them what they want. That's it. That's the key. That's how you sell. You ask good questions. You take good notes. You listen to what they tell you that they want, and then you tell them how much that is, and you book them. It's so simple, you guys. It really is. Thank you for listening. Today was a fun show. I think I really, maybe I got a little too carried away, but I had fun. And I hope everybody learned something. It's really important. It can be the difference between making all your money back and then some on an ad campaign or an ad set to going negative on it. Just those little things, those tactics that I just went over. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on Monday.